Now we have next speaker coming from India, and he's a friend, or you can say younger brother. His name is Kalarav Vasavada. He's a delivery manager at Brainvire, and he's a certified Scrum Master. He's an Adobe certified expert, and a promising speaker. I see him growing, and Meet Magento India, Magento Association Connect, and now in Meet Magento Singapore. So somebody is showing up again and again and taking an opportunity to speak up and torchbearer of Magento community. Kalarav. He's going to talk on e-commerce, cybersecurity, and protection strategies using Adobe Commerce.
So thank you, Vatsal. So Vatsal is a great mentor and friend of mine since long time. I have learned a lot from him, Vikrant, and other fellow from the community itself. So thank you so much, Renosis. Thank you so much, Meet Magento Singapore, for providing me this opportunity. I am second-time speaker into this Meet Magento Singapore. Last year also I had a great chance to be, but I was there in a virtual, and this time I am in person. So it's a great event. So thank you so much. I will be talking today about security importance in the e-commerce. So we all talk today about whether it's a composable, whether it's a traditional commerce, whether we should go with what technology, or something else. But security is an important aspect if you talk about e-commerce. Like you are going out of your home or somewhere, even if you are taking your baggages together, you are locking it, right? You are not leaving it as it is. Why? Because you make sure your luggage is secure inside your baggage, your home is secure. So here, since last 2-3 years, we have seen in the world that due to pandemic, the e-commerce has evolved a lot. Many, those who were into the store itself, have started with e-commerce platforms rather than just normal web, normal their stores. So that why and what steps we should take in terms of e-commerce security that I will be showcasing with respect to the platforms and without irrelevant of platform as well. So myself, Kalarav Vasavada, I am certified Adobe Business Practitioner, certified Professional Developer and Scrum Master, and I'm right now working in a Brainvire Infotech as a delivery manager. And I love to guide and consult the customers, give the ideas, track their business and help their business scaling into the next level. And I'm training the people in by giving the sessions and knowledge sharing. That is my forte, and that is something which I love to do so. You can connect me on Twitter. I will be sharing my handle later on if you wanted to discuss anything later. About Brainvire, the company which I am working, definitely it has given me immense amount of opportunity from which I have learned whatsoever today in the e-commerce world, because I am working with this company since 10 years. So Brainvire is a digital solution partner with Adobe as well. We are performing Adobe practices. We are working on Magento and various open source platforms itself together. We are having a group of companies, Esli, Easylytics, Control ERP, and Oro CRM and Unagi, having many offices across the world and vast amount of experience. So global e-commerce, as you have seen, as I mentioned, so in last few years of span, if you can see, so these are some just numbers since 2019. So since when the pandemic starts, what named is COVID-19, right? So since then, if you see, the e-commerce graph has constantly growing, which is into the green. And if you see in the 2020, even the in-store, that was less. Definitely, people were not going out, they were afraid. Even right now also, we are not, meeting each other without wearing a mask. So e-commerce was the only thing which has given us immense amount of safety, that yes, your goods will be reaching at your home without any hesitation, and yes, you are secure, you do not have to go out, and that's why e-commerce has evolved a lot in last few years of span. To talk about specifically into APAC part, so B2B e-commerce growth, you can see the projection since till 2027 is going to grow up to with the CAGR rate of 14.7 since this all years of span. So in B2B, B2C, any e-commerce website, so I'm sure like most of people over here are from the agencies, those who are from the customer. So my presentation is neither customer or merchant centric. It is neither centric to the developer. I wanted to focus both of these people because these are the people who is running the e-commerce community, who are daily dealing with the e-commerce community. So security, how you should maintain and manage, that I will be showcasing the basic part. So why e-commerce security is important? So cyber security, it's an essential for e-commerce because there are many hackers who are keep watching your website, keep hacking your website. We are dealing with the live payment transactions. We are having a customer's data. So if anything can be breached in your security aspect from your website, you will lose the trust of your customer and you will not able to gain the business what you should get despite doing all the digital marketing and all the basic activities on your website. So CIA, I mean, that's a standard model, a word anybody can, easily remember. So confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So you should maintain confidentiality of any data which you are keeping on your website. You should have integrity constraint to be managed and maintained into the website. And your data, whatever you are keeping into the website, must be private to you only. It should not be revealed to any other people who are trying to breach the website security access. So what parameters, what are the best practices we should follow in order to have website security standards? So I have noted down a couple of points over here. So it is like PCI compliance, SSL certificate, security plugins, you should do the data backup, antivirus software that must be installed within the system of what you are using, firewall has to be there, and CDN. And definitely whatever payment gateway we are going to use should be having a proper payment gateway standards maintained. So in the next couple of slides, I'm going to just, I have listed down all those points. And these are, you can note down these points. I'm sure in your day-to-day exercise, like if you are utilizing your mobile phone, some of the things will be definitely going to help you. It is not just the e-commerce part. Let's say secure password. You are utilizing your Gmail account or any other email account or anything, right? So secure password is most important. How and what should be the standard password size, I will let you know in the next couple of slides. Secure hosting options, yes. So whatever the hosting we are making for the website, it must be secure. As we talk about Magento, so now Adobe has come with Adobe Commerce Cloud, which is the default hosting provider itself with the AWS, which is most secure. We will understand the benefits of it in the next couple of slides. SSL certificate, why is it important and what is the benefit of it? Security plugins, why we should install the security plugins into the website and what are the benefits from it. Backups, multi-factor authentications, CDN, set up user roles permissions. So here I have noted down a couple of points and I'm going to talk in each point in very detail in next few slides. So here is the first. I mean, this is very important and very helpful to you. I just post quote today on the Twitter that the password is like your underwear. You cannot reveal or you cannot share it with anybody, right? Because it's a secure thing. So what should be the standard password mechanism? So for the password, in order to make it very strong, we should always have a mixture of multiple things which can be considered as numbers, alphanumeric, and special characters. Usually, I mean, those who are from merchant or those who are from developer background, what are their practices is, whenever they make site, it's just admin123 or admin, keep the administrator user and leave it as it is. So hacker will be easily identify that. Even if it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or any numeric number, it can be easily recognized and identified. So you should avoid same password in multiple things. Some people are keeping same password for FTP and the same password for hosting and admin and everything, just to think that, okay, I don't need to remember multiple things, but store it in a better place, or there are some password box tools are also available where you can lock and store your password without, bothering about remembering it. Nowadays, browsers are very smart, like Google, Chrome and everything. It has its own facility to store your password and it cannot be revealed to everybody. So just keep a different password for your different things.
Keep changing password on frequent intervals. Yes, so we should not keep the same password for a longer amount of time. Why? I will showcase in the next slide. Maintain the confidentiality. Yes, you should not share the password with the other fellow members of yours unless and until you are very much sure, like, okay, it is going to be, I mean, he is not going to harm your website or do anything with your website. You should, you should limit the login attempt as well, because hackers are keep trying the permutations and combinations for the password. So if 1, 2, 3 does not work, okay, lock. So you might have seen that while using the bank transactions and everything, when you are doing bank transaction and if you don't apply a right password, your bank account gets locked. You don't get a chance to access that till next 24 hours, right? So these are all security things they all have set up. I'm just combining it over here and showcasing and teaching to you guys because these are going to be very helpful in the e-commerce aspect. And yes, Magento, Adobe has already thought of all these things and there are settings available into the backend itself. But I mean, whenever a developer or any merchant who is launching a store might miss or skip these basic aspects, and due to that site might get hacked, and e-commerce is the soft target for every hackers. So we should take care of this and we should not lose the security of the website anymore. Recaptcha, CAPTCHA is a very important thing just to avoid the number of bots which are trying to access your website and logging into the website itself. And yes, password must be in encrypted mode so that in a database, if anybody can get access of database, password should not be easily human readable. It has to be either SHA-32 or whatever crypto mechanism, MD5, whatever you are using, must be secured into the same. Yes, so this is a very nice analysis done by Hive system. So you can see if your password is a 4 character and it is just a number, your hacker can easily, instantly identify it. Okay, so with the brute force attack, if it is being done into 2022, so you can see even if it is number, uppercase and lowercase, but just a 4-digit password, it can be easily identified. It can be hacked. So we should think from at least 9-digit or 10-digit password where it has combinations of number, uppercase, lowercase, letters and symbol. Then also it is 2 days. But yes, we are not going to change the password on every 2 days of interval, right? So we should think from 11 character or 11 characters of password with last 3 years or 34 years. These combinations might sound a little better because at least, yes, if you are changing your password in every 3 months or 6 months as well, then also your website or whatever things you are using, your mobile applications or anything, any system you are using will be secure. Otherwise, chances are that it might be easily hacked. Yes, you are fortunate that your site or your systems or your anything which is not being tried by cybersecurity hackers. So yes, this is the screenshot of Adobe Commerce, Magento, whatever we call it as. In admin panel itself, there are all these settings available. You can see that recovery link, it can be expired, maximum number of password reset request. There is a secret URL key you can add, maximum login failure to lockout. So over here it is 6 by default set. You can change it to 2, 3, 10, whatever number you wanted to change, you can do it. These settings are by default available. Password lifetime, so it is by default 90 days. And yes, forceful password change. So after 90 days, system will not let you do any access into the admin panel. Those who are merchant might have faced that, okay, after 90 days, if the system is unused, or even it is being used, it is forcefully being asked to change the password. That's the reason that after 90 days, if you are changing your password, you don't need to remember like, okay, it has been 90 days, but yes, change it. And don't keep it something, your birth date, your anniversary date, your friend name, your mother, father's name, your name. No such thing should be kept as a password in your password settings. Otherwise, it can be easily guessed and hacked. Let's talk next step or next thing is about secure hosting system. So what is secure? I mean, over here we have Cloudways today. There are a lot of other hosting platforms are available. Bluehost is there, DigitalOcean is there, AWS is there. So what is, I mean, everything, isn't all these are secure? No, though all those are secure. But yes, we have to consider the best things from our perspective, from the price perspective, cost perspective. Everything we have to take care, and whenever we are talking to the customer or a merchant, we have to be familiar what are the benefits we are going to get from the hosting, and then accordingly we have to guide them. So right and reliable hosting provider will be always going to helpful. It should be providing the SSL certificate option, DDoS protection, so that there is no DDoS attack can be happen. And how you can protect and prevent that? It is using the Cloudflare or DNS. With the firewall, you can prevent the DDoS attack nicely and smartly onto the same. There has to be malware detection, so the hosting provider, whatever you provide, it is having a hardware system already available, and they can install the software onto their system, which can keep scanning your website files, database on frequent basis on every standard set time, so that if there is any malicious attack, any malware Trojan being inserted or trying to insert by any of the hacker, it can be prevented and it can be taken care. If there is any such thing happen, they will let you know, and you can take preventive actions before the things go into worse direction. And yeah, automated timely backups, we will see it into the next slide. So what are the SSL certificate advantages? We just, many of are saying like, hey, your site does not have SSL. And we see like, okay, he's saying, so we are installing. So it's not like that. SSL is a secure socket layer. It is, benefiting your website and make sure that your website is in a secure mode. And there are multiple types of SSL is coming. So see, when you see this kind of lock in your address bar, you are making pretty sure, yes, the site is secure. I mean, those who are layman users, they even see that lock sign, that means the site is secure. Something is there. So it is, definitely a beneficial from the security perspective. There are EV SSL, there are Komodo SSLs where you can have your organization's name also appear into the browser address bar itself, and you can have different type of SSL. So from where to buy the SSL? Okay, so here are the couple of websites: SSLs.com, GoDaddy, Domain, DigiCert, Bluehost. These are all websites which are providing various type of SSL certificate with the different rates and pricing. They are having their own benefits and advantages respective to the website and SSL certificate, but the standard advantages, what you get is it encrypts all the information being submitted to the online store, and it is making difficult for hacker to guess it and pass it through the intercepting the data. So website URL will start with HTTPS instead of HTTP, so you will be more secure and you feel like, okay, yes, my website is secure, and customer will definitely get a good amount of feel whenever they are making a transaction or whenever they are making any purchase or financial transaction from your website, because they are giving their credit card, debit card, or any data. So they must be curious, like if my data being hacked, then I might be in a troublesome situation. Regular updates and timely backups. So as I mentioned in previous slide that we will talk about the timely backups further. So most of people are working with Magento. So anybody having idea which is the latest version of Magento? 2.4.5, right? Yes. So regular site updates. Now we talk to our customer, we talk to the developers. We should keep updating the latest version of Magento. That is the reason why we should update, because security patches, plugins, whatever we have installed, and if there are any vulnerability coming, then the ecosystem is providing a timely updates with respect to that. There are new features also being introduced onto the same. So somebody, I have a couple of my customers who are still doing Magento 1, and he's saying like, okay, my site is secure, my site is working, I'm doing business. But it is not sure that on what date your site might get hacked, because you are not with the latest version. You might be facing a couple of issues with respect to speed, performance, and everything as well. So being on latest technology and platform is always advisable. And platforms, they are working in a product, so they are always evolving on this aspect. They are keep checking what are the vulnerability available, what are the hacking things are happening. So they are protecting your system accordingly. So you should be keeping your platform into the latest security, latest version, basically of whatever plugin or whatever system you are utilizing. Timely backup, yes. So we must set up a timely backup. So usually whatever the hosting provider you are taking, they are having the ability to set up the timely backup. So it can be like database backup can be done on every hour basis, or code backup can be done on every day basis. You keep for a certain time period. So Adobe Commerce Cloud Pro version, it is having a, I mean, by default, it is taking the every hour backup on, and they are having a certain standards, like after 3 days, they are deleting the backup. For some other cases, they are deleting after a few days. So this all description is given precisely into Adobe Commerce Cloud documentation itself. So these are some of the advantages of hosting provider. Why this backup will help? So if you are losing, if your hacker is just wiped out your database or maybe code or something, if you have recent backup, you might be losing 2-3 data in last 1 hour or something. But yes, within the last, before last 1 hour, you can restore all the data from your backup itself. So timely backup is having a very important, and it is very good practice that whatever backup you are doing, just don't keep it on the server itself, keep it into a local drive itself if possible, so that local drive is not being accessible by any of the worldwide hacker, and your backup will be very much secure, and you can utilize that at any point of time for restoring your website. Multi-factor authentication and CDN. So two-factor authentication, I'm sure everybody is aware about, right? So what we have so far learned or discussed is entering username and password, bingo, done. You are into the system, right? But apart from CAPTCHA, there is a multi-factor authentication. So if somebody has used Google Authenticator, or now OTP is a very common in many of the applications, yes? So what is multi-factor authentication? You know something, plus you have something. You know your username and password, but your OTP will be with you. It is coming either in your mobile, email or something, right? Now email access is with you only. You might be giving your username and password to somebody else and you forget. And next day he becomes your competitor, or maybe he is having not good relations with you, right? But he cannot go into the system and access on behalf of you. Why? Because there is a multi-factor authentication. There are two-factor authentications. Then that are the advantages. So if it is you only, then only it is allowing you to go into the access. So keep multi-factor authentication system also into the same. OTP or any other security questions, what is your father name or something, which is known by you only. So many of the e-commerce platform nowadays are providing this, and many of you should suggest your merchant or customer also whenever like they are doing B2B or any such thing, registration process. So we can suggest such kind of features and functionality in order to make the system much more secure. And fingerprint and everything is there. I will talk into the later part of the slides about the artificial intelligence, how we can utilize those things onto the same. CDN is nothing just but a content delivery network. And I mean, whoever is working with the speed, performance optimization, all must be aware like how CDN is benefited from the same. So CDN, it is improving the page loading speed and time as well, and efficiently distributing your site content and delivering a faster response. So your image is loading separately, your content is loading separately. So there are advantages with CDN, and there are couple of things. So Fastly is by default coming with the Magento Cloud Adobe Commerce itself, and there are, apart from Cloudflare, Akamai or Lambda. Lambda is again, it's from the AWS itself. So you can take any of these and have advantages of the same. Whenever we launch any e-commerce website, or whenever we develop any e-commerce website, we usually don't keep a tendency or a practice to do a security testing, right? So there are a couple of, Sukuri, I think who are working with the e-commerce might be hearing this term. It is not new. Sukuri is a very famous tool. So you should put your website into Sukuri and keep doing the scanning of your website. So it will give you the list of possible things on the website by checking like what are the malwares or any malicious JavaScript is being injected onto the system. You can easily identify and prevent that from your website to go into the next level of crash. And these are a couple of antivirus software, Norton, McAfee, Avast, So these are very much popular name. I don't need to give you the name because those who are working with the computers, whenever like they are installing any open source, any Windows system, then they must be installing antivirus software just to make sure your local system is safe. So similarly, your hosting, which is being happening onto any of the system, definitely it is being used with the most of the time Linux or something. But yes, you should also have standard eCommerce, standard antivirus system installed onto the same, so that can help you. Earlier, people were doing the Mage report, so just as Ray Bogman said, so SWOT report analytics also giving you all these benefits and advantages by crawling your websites. What are the security or any other patches which is missing? You can get the idea, like if your website is on the not latest version or something. All these things you can get into the SWOT report itself. And there are a couple of, Forgenix security scan and Cortera is there. So these are a couple of example or suggestions I have given. You can go with any of these things. These are free for your site scanner or anything, and you can make sure that your website is secure itself. User role and permission, it is also equivalent important, because whenever you are implementing any website, whenever you set up any admin user, you give that access to everybody, right? It's a common mistake. I mean, a person who is just doing order management system does not require 100% admin access of the system. So why should we give that? A platform, when it is having a very good amount of ability to maintain the different user and role with the permission settings, we should select the only order management permission to that specific person. That way we can keep a site secure. He cannot go and change any other username, password, or see any other actions into the same. So these are the benefits of a user role and password. And this is the section in the Magento admin panel I have showcased, where you can just apply specific action and limit the user to do the access, whatever they can do with the customized permissions and access. Whatever payment gateway we are using, it must be secure. So how to know whether it's a secure payment gateway or not? So these are a couple of things, like it has data encryption, it has tokenization, it must be following the PCI DSS compliance, and it is adhered to secure socket layer as well. SSL must be followed for that payment transaction. So on a checkout page, if you go into Magento, if it is not HTTPS, some payment gateway does not allow you to integrate and go ahead with the same. So that's why the importance of payment gateway is there. PayPal, Google, even the WorldPay or Checkout, whosoever are present over here, are a good standard payment gateways, and we can go ahead with that to make site secure and proper. Storing confidential data. So now, as we know, many of you are aware that whenever you are going into any website, so it is asking whether I should store your cookies or not. It is asking for your permission, right? So according to you permissions and guidelines, we have now mandatory, if we are taking the customer's data, then we have to take the permissions from the same. So according to GDPR compliance, we have to take the consent from the customer for the same. There are various types of cyber attack can be happen on the website. It can be malware attack, it can be phishing, it can be man in the middle, MITM attacks. So phishing and malware and everything, you are very well aware. So in order to prevent this type of cyber attacks, what steps we should take, that I have explained in the previous slides. And distributed denial of service, DDoS attack, and SQL injection. So SQL injections are being happened with the specific hackers who are good into writing the SQL script and just injecting their username and password into the system. So these are a couple of Adobe Commerce features which I have listed down. You can change the admin URL, you can set the custom admin URL, set all the frequent backups, limit login attempts. These are all settings available in Magento eCommerce Adobe admin panel by default itself. Whatever plugins you are using, you should not go with any unauthenticated plugins. So there are many agencies or a team, my fellow members from the different companies who are implementing the various type of plugins. So yes, I mean, the plugin has to be authenticated and approved by Magento Marketplace itself with the certain standards and everything it is meeting up, so that it is sure that yes, it is secure plugin and there are no chances of XSS attack, session hijacking or SQL injection, and it has to meet the Magento standards accordingly. There is one more thing about the payment apart from the regular payment gateways which we are dealing with. There is a crypto which is buzzword into market. So crypto is going to definitely helpful in order to prevent the security attacks and making your transaction more secure, because it does not require any bank account. It is a very transparent process and there is no chargeback. Usually in the credit card we are worried that if chargeback will happen, you might have to refund that amount to your customer and you might enter into the loss. So there are various payment gateways, and we are lucky enough that Magento ecosystem is having a lot many plugins which are helpful for making the Bitcoin or crypto-based payment gateway integrations onto the same. So using Bitcoin as a wallet, customer can make the payment and get the confirmation immediately on the same and return to the store itself. Artificial intelligence, how it can help for our regular security part. So as I mentioned in the previous slide, I wanted to talk a line onto the same. So it can help you by making a behavior analytics. So if any specific person or any specific IP which is trying to keep attempting to enter in your admin panel or trying to access your website, you can check that behavior analytics. You can stop that IP address. You can stop that specific customer from the same. There are spam emails which are happening, so you can stop the spammers from the same as well. And there are bots and everything which can be prevented by using of artificial intelligence. And with the biometric authentications and everything, we can prevent that as well. We are working, I have specifically checked one of the plugin which is like you just speak something and then only it will allow you to log in something. So it is your voice-based recognition, it is your eye-based recognition into the system, and that will make your system more secure and efficient. So artificial intelligence is definitely going to be a next-gen thing, and investment into the same is going to happen by $7 billion by 2025. So we should keep our eye and see what are the benefits we can take, the maximum advantages of artificial intelligence in any aspect of e-commerce, not just a security. So in a nutshell, we have discussed and talked about what things we should be taking. So here is the summary of the same. Take a regular backup, should be a good server, firewall and anti-malware should be there. Your payment gateway has good standard and security things. And your website must be having a standard security scanning and audit system on timely basis. So in last 2 lines, I will say, everyone prefers a secure platform for buying products online. If you are not ensuring security for your visitors, they will leave and might not come back. So recurring transaction is only going to give us a business. So if we are missing this, we are losing the customer. And in many cases, breaches, whatever are there, or for that vulnerability or the patches are already there into the market, but it is our laziness which is we are not installing, considering like, okay, it is 2.4.5, I mean, it's fine, we are good in 2.4.4, and then the hacking happens. So this is, it is available into the market but not applied, so make sure we have all the latest patches available and apply on to the time. Thank you so much for being a nice audience. Here is my LinkedIn, Twitter, and email access and phone number as well. You can contact me if any questions later on as well. And right now, if there are any questions, I'm happy to help and answer to you.
Yeah, we can take 1 or 2 questions, and then we can move to refreshments. Anybody have questions? Okay.
So either everybody has listened well, or either...
Yeah, anyways, it was a great, insightful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kalarav.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.